So good. I'm looking forward to this.
Welcome to In the Green Room. I'm Kinga.
And I'm Chad.
Jordan here.
Wendy. Sophie.
And we are talking about Rewind. Tell us about your beautiful wine shop.
Yes.
Wine
First of
rest-
all, thank you so much, Kinga, for having us on your podcast.
Absolutely.
I
Thank
really
you,
appreciate
Sophie and
that.
Jordan. And thanks to Wendy
Yeah.
that brought us
My first
in.
podcast.
Yeah,
We'll see
some
how
of my
this goes.
favorite people from my favorite bar.
That's so exciting.
I mean, they are my favorite people at that bar, but I mean, they're some of my favorite people in general.
I was about to say, you be really careful about how you say this right now,
We
Wendy.
go on
Be
fairly
really
well in
careful.
public, too. Yeah.
I know where you drink. I know where
And
you
where I
drink.
live.
And where you live. More importantly, I guess.
So Rewind is a game kind of themed bar, right?
Yes.
So it's
Here in
so
Phoenix.
it's like a retro nerdy beer and wine bar, sort of warm retro nerdy nostalgia. We have over 100 craft options, 8 taps, and usually about over 40 wine options, both red, white, rosés, all that.
And he changes it up, so it makes
Yep.
it fun to go
It
check
always,
it out another
yeah, the
week.
stock always rotates too. So even if you live right next door, for example, you won't get bored. There's always something new
Yep.
in there, and we do trivia, we do karaoke, we do art nights, we do a little bit of everything. Video games on Sunday.
Love
So
We're going to do
Yeah.
some singles nights here pretty soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How nerdy do the games get? Like, do you have
Yes.
Catan in there, or like how nerdy? are we
Catan
talking?
takes too long, and
I'm about to say people would be blacked
But
out
we-
sword fighting if
we
you have
do
Catan.
have-
I mean, there's
Right.
risk. We have risk there if you really wanted to. I mean,
yeah, I think we have Stratego too. So
Yeah.
if you want to
So
nerd
like
out, we
you
have
get,
Super
like, super,
Mastermind.
like, nerdy
So
and
if
play,
you want to
like,
give
chess
yourself a
and backgammon.
migraine and play
Yeah.
a game at the same time,
Yeah.
we have that for you.
Well, I think my friends and I would probably get too heated during a game of Catan, so it's probably good that that's not an option because that game gets so intense out of
That's
nowhere.
what the
Fair
beer is
option.
for.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're building the
level it out.
longest
Hey
fence.
Jordan, tell them what happened to the Operation game I was looking for. I was like, hey, do you guys have Operation?
I love that game.
Yeah, I
That's
went
so
to
fun.
repair it. It was the darndest thing. I went to repair it and it slid right into the trash because it drove me nuts. It's sort of like driving with a bus full of children cross country. What games do you give them? Because you're going to hear that every single day. Yeah, and so you just take it away.
So Jordan, tell us
Yeah,
how
you
you
can
got
turn that place
started.
into an insane asylum real quick.
I learned the first couple of years. I'm like, okay, any buzzing electronic games. We had bed bugs. We had Operation. We had a wire tracing game that would make the sound of broken
the
glass
wire
when you messed it up.
tracing game. I remember
I broke that one too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
It's kind of fun. You get to have like Office Space moments with these games that cause you frustration.
Sophie?
Yes, ma'am.
This
Like
sounds like
getting
a good
revenge on
bar
our
to bring the
childhood.
kids to.
Actually,
People do bring their kids.
it's funny you should mention that. The youngest patron, well, the youngest guest we've ever had was 2 weeks old. We did not serve her liquor.
don't
Yeah,
have
no,
liquor to
you can
sell
actually
anyway,
bring your kids
so.
in because I
Really?
like the
that.
European approach of like a family bar experience.
Okay.
And since we have over 120 board games, like, yeah, bring the kids, have a family game night, get some pizza, outside food's allowed in, and we've got you covered.
But you see these weird
Jen, are you
families
sure?
that take their kids to Hooters. You're like, take them to Rewind and play some board
That's more for the
games.
dad,
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
for the
some
kids.
wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on the kid, maybe, but probably mostly for the dad.
So can you bring your
For the
dog
mom,
in?
You don't know.
Maybe.
Can you bring your dog in? Chet goes everywhere with his
Unfortunately, no. That's
Mommy's
a
a
health
good
code
one,
type
too.
thing,
dog.
and
Okay.
the public area of the bar, there's really not much room to wiggle around to, so they're
Okay.
usually underfoot, and there's a chance that they get stepped on, and I just don't want
I don't blame you. Yeah. Because then
I do love doggos, though.
you might have somebody bringing a cantankerous dog that might be biting
You never know.
somebody.
It's
Too
a,
many
it's a
wild
big,
dogs.
it's a big
Yeah, so
wild
you don't know how
card.
other people are going to respond
Yeah.
to because
Yeah.
sometimes
Right.
other people may have a fear of dogs or something else. The dog may be perfectly fine,
And of
but
course,
somebody else
as
may feel
always, service
unsafe.
I
animals are
understand.
completely
I
welcome.
understand.
That's fine. Just
So-
emotional support chickens.
Bring your
no.
babies, but not your dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Should be your new tagline.
Right.
Please, God, no. For my
So
sake.
I know your
For my
kitty
sake,
corner
please
from
no.
one of my favorite Thai restaurants, Glyban.
Yes.
And apparently a lot of people, Glyban always has like at least a 30-minute wait. And when the
Yes.
weather's nice, like an hour wait. So they put their name in there and then walk to you. It's like a 2-minute walk.
Yeah, Dan and Kat, the owners of Glybon, this actually started shortly after we opened. We didn't bank on this or anything, but we were hanging out with them and we just kind of meshed. And I offered to get some of their menus and talk them up because I really do love their restaurants.
I love it.
And he's like,
So
look,
good.
we have no place for anybody to sit. Is it okay if they come over to your place? And I was like, well, absolutely. And so we have walkie-talkies, we have shortwave radios with them. And it's this great symbiotic thing. It sort of keeps people in a predictable queue for them. It increases their business flow, but it also helps us out too. We have really good adjacencies with it.
And what I love about Glyban is it's such a sustainable, just like your place, a sustainable business. They've repurposed furniture from like Goodwills, and
Yep.
all the chairs are different, and the tables are different, and the glasses are, nothing matches. I love it.
Mhm.
And I really love how it's a little repurposed house.
Yeah.
And so,
It's
Chet, you
very
haven't
much
been there. It's a
Thailand.
really
Yeah.
cool
Like that's
place.
exactly
Yeah,
what they do
and the
in
staff is
Thailand,
just
so it's-
phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
And
all
what I love is
phenomenal.
it's really romantic. Like, it's a great place to go for a date. I've been, anyway, I just love it. Chad, one of these days I'm gonna make a reservation for you, and who's gonna be your date?
I don't know. I'll take someone.
I can
Sounds
try.
fun though.
We should have people send in applications.
There you go. Yeah.
Sounds like a really fun activity though. Yeah.
It
Date
is.
or just go with a group of friends. Either way sounds fun.
Absolutely, 100%. That's right. You can bring the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can bring the boys. And so, how did you get your start, Jordan? And how did you find Sophie? Tell us the whole. Because I want to have a wine bar. That's my dream.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me how to do this dream of mine?
Absolutely. I always recommend that people start with research, because research is free. Do your homework. And then, really look into the meat and potatoes of what it takes to get started. We started about 6 years ago.
Okay.
You're going to need a liquor license if you don't get a location that already has one attached to it.
And your liquor license was about 40,000.
Yeah, when
Okay.
it was new, about 42,000 for a Series 7. So that's only beer and wine.
And now that's about 80.
It has gone up since then.
Yeah,
6 years, it's gone up to
about
80.
80,000 now. Hard liquor would be, I think it's to the tune of like 240,000. This is actually all on the City of Phoenix website. You can look it up. It's super easy.
Okay.
So there's going to be a big initial investment, especially if you have to build out the bar physically when you get there, if it doesn't exist already. So you've got to
Did
do
yours
that.
exist?
No,
Okay.
it was an empty rectangle, which is why I loved it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did commercial design a little bit before this, so I did all the construction plans in SketchUp, and then I was there with the contractors, literally helping them build it to keep the costs down.
I love it.
But yeah, I think I started like 8 years ago. We started chipping away at this, and then we opened about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So
But what gave you the idea? This is what I want to do. Like I love wine. That's why I want to do it.
I
Are
was
you
actually-
a wino, or do you like the beer more?
I do like wine, but I'm more of a beer guy. And actually, I remember my aha moment. I was at Rotten Grapes. It was a warm summer night, and I had Highland Towers, Central Phoenix.
Okay.
They sold it. I don't know if it exists anymore. I think it's under a different name now.
Okay.
But they had the Mother Road Golden Kolsch on tap, and I didn't even know what a Kolsch was. I was like, "What is this?" Like, it was the perfect beer at the perfect time. Had a
Chet,
little
what's a
bit-
Kolsch?
It's a beer.
It's a golden German style lager. This one had a little bit of a biscuit finish to where it was just bready at the end, and I just kind of had this light bulb where I'm like, "Wait, beer can be interesting." Like, whoa! And so then I started learning, and then we liked the idea of opening our own spot, and we just started chipping away at it.
Well, on that thought, can we have a little try of this beer that you're bringing here?
Absolutely, we
Because
have.
I'm not really a beer drinker, but maybe I'll
Maybe
start
he
to
can
like
turn
it.
you.
That's right.
Yeah. I have been known to convert people, such as Sophie
Sophie.
over
Lovely
here,
Sophie.
aka Little Miss Overalls.
That's right. Miss
Uh,
Overall's
yeah.
in the house.
And she used to be a patron. She came in with a partner a while ago. How long ago?
Right. Where are we at this point? 5 years ago. About
Yeah.
5 years ago, give or take. Now X and I were living together, and we found that Rewined was just off the street from us. And so we went and popped over, check it out, fell in love with it. I was like, they have Nintendo. And that is where I got hooked. I was like, I don't drink beer. Like, no. Like, I'll be honest, I just smoked weed all the time. Like, I was not a drinker. It's not my thing. And he very much was. He loved craft beer. And then, it was perfect for him to nerd out. That's how he and Jordan kind of like nerded out on beer. And then slowly but surely, Jordan started let's just see what you have. Like, we went through ciders and sours. I'm sorry, I love ciders and sours. And there was a Belching Beaver Hazy IPA. They no longer make it. I don't even remember what it was called, but the can was phenomenal. And that's why I fell in love with like IPAs, which I hated before. And then, it just became a weekly thing. We just started popping
cool.
in, and I started learning more and more about beer through Jordan, but also just through tasting. It was a lot of fun. And then it just so happened we were there as patrons, and Jordan was talking about how he needed some help. This was after COVID. Thank you, love. How he needed some help, and I was like, I've been in sales my whole life. I was like, it's not hard, like, and I'm here more than I probably care to admit. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I'm pretty sure I could pop in. You just kind of have to show me like your kind of ways or whatever. And he was like, yeah, sure, let's go. Let's give it a shot. Like, why not? Like, I like you. I was like, cool, I like you too, friend. You know. And then I stayed for a weekend because I was working full time. I was going to school full time. And so I worked for the weekend, and he afterwards was like, oh my God, will you please stay? And I was like, Jordan, I work full time and I go to school full time. So obviously, yes, I will. Yes, because I'm insane. Obviously, the answer is yes. Like, duh. But I can only do this like maybe once or twice a week, but yeah, of course. So for a long time, for almost, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years or whatever, I just worked like 2 days a week, sometimes 3, depending on like what was going on, make sure like it didn't interrupt with my schedule for my work or whatever. And then I think it was beginning of last year, I came to Jordan and I was like, I'm tired of working corporate. I'm over it. I don't want to do it anymore. And I love being here. And I know that you love being here, but I bet
And
you
customers love you.
And
I fell in love
bet you
with you
would.
when I met
Thank you. I appreciate
Yes,
that.
it's true.
But he'd been working at the bar 7 days a week, open to close, and
Yeah.
I was just, and I could see it taking a toll on him. And I was like, and I really wanted, like, you got to stay alive, Jordan, to keep this bar alive. And so I was like, let's help each other. So how would you feel if I took, like, if I worked 4 days a week, open to close, it gives you time off, talk with your partner about it. I would rather just be doing this. And I'm, you know, whatever. He came back to me and he was like, offer accepted. And I was like, scores. So it's what I've been doing ever since, and I love it. And I, like, sometimes people are like, oh, have you been doing this forever? I'm like, no, this is my first bartending job, actually.
Well, and I was telling Jordan, when you frequent a bar not only because you like the spot and the atmosphere, but because you like bond with that bartender.
Yeah.
And you
yeah,
become their
absolutely.
friend, and when you have a stressful day, you like to talk to them, and
Yeah.
you know they're your friends.
Yeah.
So you're lovable, like you meet
Yeah.
you, and it's like,
Well, they've definitely built
like,
that environment.
good
like,
job.
Living in the
Oh.
neighborhood.
and you're lovable too.
Yeah.
It's her fault, yeah.
I've made him more lovable. He just
I mean,
doesn't
I,
get it.
I don't want to take credit for it, but I will.
living in the neighborhood, though, you see tons of people from the neighborhood. You just see a lot of repeat customers. So clearly, I'm not the only.
And this is very
No.
sustainable
That
when
makes
you're
sense.
supporting a
is.
local bar, when you're supporting a local business,
Yep.
a small Arizona business,
Yep.
and you know he's going to be having Sam Pillsbury wine. What are we doing here? We're saving the planet
That's
One
it.
show
One show
at
at
a
a time.
There you go.
because we're being sustainable. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Jordan, for
Oh.
really caring about our environment.
Well, for sure.
We're
I
big on
mean,
recycling at the bar.
yeah,
Yeah.
we recycle
Making
pretty
sure
much
that
everything we can
yeah.
from the bar. Yeah.
Actually, a
You
lot of
know?
the cool decorations in the bar are recycling, like
Yes,
these
they
little.
The little can caps, like the
Can
plastic
caps?
clips that come on top
Yeah.
of 4-packs and
He-
6-packs, we cut them down and we make can worms out of them
They're
and
so cool.
hang them from the
Love
ceiling.
that.
Yeah, we become
Well,
really
all of our games
adept
are
at
secondhand.
decorating
Yeah.
with
You know what I
trash.
mean? A lot of our
I love
decorations
it.
are
Well, because they are recyclable. This is HDPE2, so this is the same plastic as a milk carton, but they're so small and they're flat, they gum up the machinery, so City of Phoenix won't take
Oh.
them. They're made by
Did
a
you know
company
that?
called
I didn't know that.
Pactec out of California, and their splash page is a little big green rectangle, like or triangle, like a big closed loop type thing. But they depend on individual businesses to mail them back the plastic in order for it to be closed loop. And I'm like, well, like that's kind of an obvious oversight. And so there was really no solution. I didn't want to throw them away. I think I have 10 wine boxes of these things yet to be processed into something, but we're working on a 35-foot stretch that's going to go from the front wall all the way to the back wall, and it's going to be color blocked. It's going to look really cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Chet to get in there because really, it is like,
Yeah.
it's just this little cute, charming.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of romantic if you're on a date or bring your friends.
Mhm.
It's just cool.
It's
Yeah.
kind of cool. Under the bar top, one side is all cassette tape, so that's kind of, recycling also, right? And then the other side
Exactly.
is, what are they called? Pogs?
Pogs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pogs.
Yeah,
the whole-
1,500
Bar
pogs
top
organized
is
by
pogs.
color and
Yep.
over 500 cassette tapes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's really cool.
So is it where people can choose what the music's going to be, or are you the DJ?
That would be
That one, yeah, that's yeah, that's run and
that
yeah,
would be me.
we have a special program for that, and it kind of works similarly to Pandora, to where you can't request a certain song.
Mm-hmm.
If you make a playlist based on an artist, you'll never hear them.
Yeah.
And so,
Mm-hmm.
but we play a pretty good vibe. We have like 5 or 6 music channels that we bounce between.
Yeah.
I noticed I
Depending on
really
the day
liked your
and
music.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
They do good
So what
stuff.
is this beer
have
we're
good
drinking
taste.
here?
Yes. All right. So first up, this is Sunbloom from Bow and Arrow out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Actually, Sophie was the one that hunted this one down. This is
Wow.
a female-owned and run brewery. They're all
Female and native.
Native
wow.
American.
Really?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
From
Yeah.
Arizona?
No,
No.
from New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Wow, I
They're
They're
love
not,
it.
they're not easy to get a hold of, and we have
No.
a couple of their things. We've
Got
got
the Scenic Drive, which is a hazy IPA, and then we have a Don't Let 'Em Pick Guitars and something else, and I can't remember the last end of it, and that's a double
pick
hazy
guitars and drive
IPA.
old
So,
trucks.
so
And then there's a
describe
Saison.
what this would be called. Like, what kind of IPA is it?
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
Saison. This is not an IPA.
Yes.
Oh, it's
so
Saison.
no, it's a 3.6%. So this is going to be a lighter beer.
Okay.
Not
Teach
a
me about. I don't
lager,
know about beer.
A little bit, yeah. It's going to be a little bit more complex than a lager.
Mhm.
But saisons are usually
This one's going to be a little bit on the maltier side. It's going to have, it's going to taste a little bit more like a wheaty beer rather than
Mhm.
than what you would come to that you would try. Oh my gosh, words would be so good in my brain right now.
Because I taste some fruit.
Yeah, you are going to
Yeah.
taste a little bit of fruit. Again, there's going to be a little of that maltiness to it, but you're not going to find it to be super heavy.
No, it's light.
Yeah, very light, easy to drink. It's not going to be. It's not. You're not going to think of it as like a. The maltiness is very light in itself. It's not super heavy on it, but
I taste some like.
in this particular
Root beer.
one, they're not all like brewed like this. And
I get more.
Or vanilla cream soda or
Um,
something. Do you taste that
mm.
vanilla cream soda?
That would be the malt.
Okay. is
But
that
you
the
get
malt?
you get a little bit of like crisp pear on the end. It has a nice tart finish to it, as saisons are prone to do. So this makes this like just an excellent warm weather beer because it's going to be so refreshing on a hot day. And at 3.6%,
you can
you're
knock
not
these back.
you're not going to get French
Mhm.
snooker. Yeah, this is a good poolside beer
Yeah.
for sure.
I don't know that word. Schnookered.
French snooker.
I've always heard
yeah.
schnockered.
Schnocker.
I've heard
Yeah.
schnockered,
Yep.
but wait, what's this word?
French snookered. I think I stole that.
French schnockered.
Fun schnookered.
I stole it from Men in Tights. I stole it because he was the rabbi.
Mel Brooks.
You know, Mel Brooks was the rabbi, and he's like, "Wait, there's trees, there's rocks, there's boys. We'll bless everything until we get French snookered." And I love that line, so I kept it.
Franz schnookered. I'm going to
Let's
use
go
that.
with it.
Okay,
Alright.
so this was. What would you rate this on a scale from 1 to 10, Wendy?
I really am enjoying it quite a bit.
She's really good and honest. If
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
she's really good.
This is why
about it.
we're friends.
Yes.
Why we like her,
Yeah,
yeah.
yes.
Oh,
She
like,
leaves
we
with
don't
honesty.
we don't play those games.
No,
like, I'm
we
really,
don't.
like I told Jordan, I was like, I have to be very careful of the things that come out of my mouth today. Because I'm not always aware of what comes out of my mouth.
No,
And
it's
so
good.
I have
Let it
to,
rip.
I have to really. We gotta be careful about that one, friend. Sometimes either they don't want to come out, or that maybe a little bit too much comes out. It's fine. Doing great.
So what would you
I
rate
like
this?
you know what, 8 or 9.
Wendy? Okay. Chet, what about you?
8.5.
Yeah, give it like an 8.
Okay. What about you, Jordan?
Ah.
I do like it for this style. I would say it ranks up there. Yeah, like an 8. It's
Nice.
really good.
I don't think I've had this style before.
It's nice and crisp, and it's clean too. Because sometimes when
is.
they do saison, sometimes you do get a little bit of barnyard, like some straw and stuff, and that can sometimes muddle the fruit notes. But this one actually is nice and clean.
I really like it. I'd give it a 9.
It's
I'm
one of
not,
my first
I'm
ones
not
that
really
I've
a
tried
beer
where it's
drinker, and I think it's
a little
really, I
bit
would
more
have
on the
one.
malty side,
Yeah.
but I enjoy it because it kind of reminds me of a little bit of a lighter version of like a Hefeweizen.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, I
the
get
fact
that.
it's
A little bit of-
women owned.
Women-owned, native-owned,
Native-
and
yeah.
it's
I'm gonna give it a
they
9.
They make
Yeah.
such great beers. The other two beers
They
are
really
also
do.
absolutely fantastic and excellent. Like it's definitely one of my new favorite breweries for sure. If you haven't had a chance to check them out, please come by us, and we're happy to give you what we have. But like, excellent brewery,
Yeah.
for sure.
Very cool.
Solid.
Okay, what's our next one we're gonna try?
Alrighty, let's try to go in a logical order here. We got a couple
We do have a
to go through.
And we have 2 wines.
Yeah, if you
Review as
if you
well.
need an empty, you
Oh,
can
here we
pass
go.
it to
because
me.
there's just a lot
Or we
that's
can
going
pass
on.
the
in
bucket
drinking
We'll pass the bucket
Oh,
around.
so you're good in there.
Dump her in.
All right.
Pepper in.
Let's see.
I'm gonna dump mine in. See? I'm not gonna drink it all. There we go. Chet, are you gonna dump yours?
Yeah.
I'll pass this. There you go. Dump
I
it.
feel like a
There
real
we
beer
go.
drinker. I'm like, I'm just gonna can't waste it.
So, Gabe, if you finish that, we can, or you have another glass, we can give you some of this wine or beer we just tasted. But we need another glass for you.
So the next one up, because we got heavier and sour beers coming up. So I'm
Okay.
gonna do cider core next. Honorable mention. So this is a cidery that is it Tempe, I do believe.
Cider
Tempe or Mesa.
That's awesome. It's local also. Because
Yeah.
New
It is.
Mexico
We
I'd
did-
consider
so
local as
we
well.
we
I
have
do
two.
too.
We've
Yeah.
got
Same
2
region.
non-locals, and the rest are going to be local.
Mesa.
They're
Sorry,
in Mesa,
sorry,
so-
Justin. So Justin is a ex-Marine, and he got into cider right after he got out of the military. His cidery is gorgeous, by the way. I have a little bit of bar envy.
And tell us what cider is.
I already got.
For our listeners
Oh,
that don't
right.
know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
We've
so
listened to
cider
it, yeah, cider is.
differs from beers that it's basically it's fermented fruit juice, usually done with yeast. You can use wine yeast, but cideries have their own yeasts. So it's just fermented fruit juice. If you get 100%,
I like that. Oh my gosh, that's
Most of them
amazing.
use an apple base.
That's
Yeah.
really good. I want more of that.
well, yes, yeah, but as long as the
saying
fruit
all of them,
juice
but
has
yeah,
a
most of them
residual
do.
sugar high enough, you can ferment it, and then
Wait, that's really good. Do we have a second one of that?
no, I only brought one.
Rewind,
Yeah, so this
yeah.
one is his.
Do you want mine?
Yeah, teasing.
I love
We
it.
have so much to
Beers,
drink.
okay.
No. I love it though.
Okay.
I love that. That is
Yeah,
delicious.
it's yummy.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so
this one's apple juice with infused with pawpaw fruit. So it's a tropical fruit. Wow, nice. Yeah.
Right. See,
Nailed it.
Words.
Nailed
Words
it.
are doing
Stuck the
so great
landing.
today.
Yeah,
So
this is
great.
why I'm not in the Olympics.
Sure not so.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say
It's a
that.
tropical fruit. It's got a nice light taste to it. It's very refreshing. Again, like on a hot day, since we're in the summer months, like I change what we get in the bar to where it works out with the weather.
The season, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, love
We get a
that.
lot of seasonal rotations.
And this one's not too sweet.
No,
A lot of ciders
yeah.
that I have tried,
really
it tastes like cough syrup or something.
Mhm.
It's way too
Yes.
sweet. This is like refreshing and
It really
sweet
is.
in a good way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't taste like it has too much alcohol content. What is it?
This is a
3%?
5.5.
Oh, 5.5.
So actually
okay.
higher than the beer.
Yeah.
The beer
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I like this better actually. I
Yeah,
like
these
the
are
first one.
very good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
super
this is
easy to
delicious.
This would be very
So
good at a
we
pool
actually
too.
sample
Oh,
and
yes.
taste
Yeah.
everything before we bring it into the bar. A majority of what we bring in, we sample first to make sure that it's good.
Do you want?
Because
you can hire me as
sometimes-
the taster.
There you go. I
I
love
have
it.
a good taste.
I love it. I'll drop the contract.
There we go.
Do you work for tastings?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I can pay you in tastings.
Or sometimes, like if there's a brewery that has come to our attention through
Mhm.
other people or through social media or other reps or things like that, we'll look up the brewery and kind of check them out too. Because if we aren't
Yeah.
able to get a sample of them, we want to do our research on our breweries as well. But Jordan and I really, and I say Jordan and I just because I'm his work wife, so he's got to deal with me. So,
That's true.
but like we're really big on.
But you know that they're not. They're not together.
no,
You just
no,
said
no,
work
yeah.
wife. Who
Yeah.
would have not understood that?
I
That's
don't
what
know
that
if
was
you know what that
implying.
means. I don't know if you knew what that means, Chet.
That's pretty self-explanatory. For anybody with a functioning brain.
This-
If
the
somebody
cider is
can't figure
also
that out, they
alcoholic.
can't
I
figure out
mean-
how to put a podcast
Yeah,
on. For
so
fucking
it's
sure.
so good.
We're doing great.
We're doing great. But we're really, really big on trying
That's
to
okay. I
get
couldn't
as
think
many
of
local,
seasonal earlier, so that was awesome.
We're really big on trying to get as many local breweries as we can, because we are a locally owned shop, and so it's one of the things that's very important for us, kind of like talking about sustainability, but also economic sustainability, that
Thank
we
you.
can continually doing that, having that circular economy. So we want to be able to support our local brewers, and so we go to beer fests at least twice a year. We can go out and meet local brewers, and we network with them and things like that. And because there are some that aren't quite with distributors that might be self-distributing or things like that we may like miss out on through a distributor. So it's nice to go and talk with them, because if they self-distribute, it's like, can we get some of your beer in, especially if we really like it. But that's a really big pushing point for us, that we love to do as much local as we can. So
Yeah.
if there's anybody
Thank you
out there
so
that
much.
wants us to sell their beer, we would be happy
Hit
to
us
do
up.
it. So just come, like if you don't have a distributor, you're self-distributing, come and find us, because we'd love to be able to support you and showcase you.
And I love that you're
you know.
saying that,
Yeah.
because I already spoke to Sam Pillsbury and I put him on. I put
Yeah.
you on the spot the last time I was in there.
Wine, local
And put
wines,
them on the
local
phone,
beers,
and
everything.
and Sam Pillsbury's all excited to have his wine and sell
I
it
think
to
he was.
Jordan.
yeah, like
Yes, he was asleep. I was there
Yeah.
at like 11 o'clock.
I
at
was-
night. We
that's
called Sam. I go,
wonderful.
he's
Yeah.
not going to answer the phone.
I was holding
Sam
my
Pillsbury's
head. I
not
was
gonna-
like, this was not my
he goes, this is too late. And he answered the phone, and I said, as soon as I said, there's a little cute, local, sustainable place, and he wants to have your
Yeah.
wine, he was like, oh, I'd like to meet him.
Yeah.
What's it called? And
Yeah.
now he's all excited to meet you. So he
So,
said, we're going to do a show with Sam,
please, yes.
with Sophie
Appreciate
and
that.
Jordan
Yeah.
and all of us
We're
in
very big
September.
on that.
I've been to
Yeah.
this place several times, and it's actually by far my favorite winery that's up there.
Well, not only is his
Yeah.
wine the best, like
Mhm.
it's incredible
The
and
food
it's local,
is amazing. too.
amazing, and he's such a great guy to support.
Yeah.
He is.
He's
yeah.
so funny and he's so smart and he's
And you know,
just
when you have businesses doing business with local businesses,
Yeah.
the economic impact on that, and just from the tax dollar retention
Yep.
angle, how much that improves the community that you're in, and even the state that you're in, is so profound. Because if you go to like a national chain, that money is gone out of your state. It's
Thank
wherever
you.
they're headquartered.
You're putting into local, you're
and
getting
it
back local.
and it you know
Mhm.
that affects the state of your roads, your schools, everything. Put your money back where you live,
Yep.
and it makes such a huge impact.
I love that you
Such a huge
care
impact.
and that you're knowledgeable about it because
Yeah.
you know, we can only make a difference with awareness.
It's
And
true.
when people
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
that that's why it's so important.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep,
and
yep.
and if you don't realize that people that are making wine locally need you to buy it or they can't exist.
Right.
Right.
That's why they're there.
I mean, you
Yeah.
know, if you're not
Beer and wine. Find
Yeah.
these local
Yeah.
places.
If you're like,
to
oh, I'm
be
just gonna
able to
buy
sell
this
as much as you can. Yeah.
Beer, wine,
$10
and
bottle
knowledge.
of wine at
Yeah.
Costco.
Like,
You know,
why-
let's say
why
you're just
go-
going to buy a bottle of wine at Costco that's $10,
Right.
but you're basically not helping our local business and our local vintners,
Mhm.
and then they can't stay in business. Chad, do you have anything to say about that?
I agree. It's important to support local.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine
I've
somebody
heard him
comes
say it
in like,
before.
give me a Bud Light. I'm like, no, I don't have that. But
Solid.
I can get you something
Solid.
that's similar that's locally made. Yay! How about that? Oh,
Okay, so what's our next one we're going to try? And also, we've been sipping on this red wine that you didn't tell us about.
that's a Victor Hugo.
Oh, yes, yeah, we've been
Paso Robles
sort of-
Cabernet Sauvignon.
I'll pour a tiny bit more of that one.
There
Nice.
you go.
Because I have nothing to taste.
Oh no.
Wow, both of the things we've tried so far were very good, though. I
Agreed.
would take to a pool party.
I know. Would it be frowned upon to like ice this?
No, I was thinking the same thing. This is one I would
Dude,
do. Only
yeah.
because for me, it's a little bit on the sweeter
It
side.
is, yeah.
And so I need that ice to kind of dilute that a little bit for me. And I'm just not a huge sweet person. So like, but it's good. It's good. Yeah.
When I drink
I
in the
really
pool,
enjoy it.
sometimes ice is required. And
Well, there is that. I mean, I put ice in kombucha.
yeah,
So there's
Okay.
that.
There you go.
all right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first red that we did, this was
Yes, can you tell us about this, please? Here we go.
2019 Victor Hugo Cab Sauv from Paso Robles. And I really liked this one. It's slightly dry, but it is.
Turn the
Oh yeah, right.
to the
Camera.
camera.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry. I forgot about that.
Yay! But Paso Robles is really a kind of small little local.
It's so
it
beautiful.
isn't Arizona, but it's still
California.
in our America, and it's still a cute little. It's by Sam. Chet went to school there, San Luis Obispo, and it's just a cute little wine area in California. But it's still close enough that I mean, it's not Spain, it's not France,
Right.
it's right here in America, so it's still local.
It's true.
I
Yes,
think
it
region
is.
is the word
it
you're
is in our
looking for.
country.
It's in our
It's
region.
regional.
It is in our
But
country.
it's still in our country.
Yes.
So yeah, we're not
Yes.
shipping it.
I love it.
Well, with
across
mine, it's
from-
trickier to do Arizona. I mean, Pillsbury, worthy mention. Also, Flying Leap. I do like some of their stuff as well.
There are a few others.
There's several others, but to be frankly honest, Arizona is not really a climate where you traditionally grow many grapes. There are small areas where you can do that, and it works. But
Not
grape-
true. That's why
Grape-
Richard Betts was almost going to be here because Arizona wines have they're like
No, he's right that it's
He's
a
right.
unique
You're
terroir
very
for grape.
limited.
It's
You're
not a
very
normal.
limited.
no.
It's not a normal
Arizona
terroir
wines
for
are-
wine.
Yeah, there's certain
But Arizona wines are
varietals.
really thriving
No
right now.
one's-
They are.
no
They can
one's
barely
saying-
keep them on the
Kinga,
shelf.
Oh, no,
Kinga,
I know.
You're
It's
debating
more-
the wrong point.
It's
His
more
point
that
was
the
there's a
types of
limited
grapes are
amount
very
of
sensitive
grapes.
to heat.
Yeah,
so
and
there's
where they
certain,
grow.
Yeah,
That's true.
So,
That's
yes.
true.
There's certain types of grapes
That's
that do
true.
really well in Arizona, but it's not like California where you just throw something and it grows. And so the Arizona wineries, they do have to be very selective and almost surgically precise
Yes.
with what they plant, how they
Right.
water everything, how they harvest. And there are really good Arizona wineries.
Great
There
ones,
are
great
some-
ones.
yeah, it's been-
And I'm kind
They're
of,
some of my favorites.
I am very impressed because that is no easy feat.
Right.
I know they are in more temperate climates than we are, better elevations and sort of, they've got the terroir advantage. They've got the mountains and it
Yeah.
shelters them, and so you've
Well,
got
we
all
do a
that,
lot of
but-
shows about Arizona wines, and I'm a big fan of Arizona wines.
You need to pay more attention
Not
then
only
because what he said is
Sam's.
accurate.
Yeah, exactly.
About the terroir being very different from
Oh,
California.
no. I didn't want Wendy to get on a tangent because Wendy doesn't like Arizona wines.
I've had a couple
She
that
always,
I've
Wendy
had.
doesn't like Arizona wines.
Like, well,
And
stop making.
it's-
Because the
First of
terroir
all,
is so different than
It's-
California, you can't grow a lot of the same stuff there.
Well, but
I
I
can
mean,
It's totally different.
I
It's
can
totally
speak
different.
for
Oh, that's
myself.
what his point was.
But it's delicious in a different
doing
way.
great.
It's like not so manufactured, and
Look,
it's
I do love me some Arizona
distinctive.
wines. With that being
There are some
said,
really great ones.
there are
especially
so
in
many
Northern.
varietals
There are
all
some
around the
that even
world.
Wendy
Italy
enjoys.
easily has over 3,000 varieties in and of itself.
and they're amazing.
So you have Italy, you have France, you have Spain, you have
Portugal,
you
Chile.
have Africa, you have Mexico,
Yeah.
you have all these places that are making really good wines and different varietals, ancient varietals, all on their own.
Right.
And then you have the individual terroir and how they're doing it, how they age it.
Right.
There's so many factors that go into what makes a finished product in wine that while you would like to stick to one location saying like these wines are my favorite, and like everybody sort of has that, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to explore what wine is in general, you have to just kind of go all out
Taste the whole
and
world.
grab stuff from everywhere.
I love it. Yeah,
Agreed.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
if you want to have a broad, educated perspective, people
If
that
you're
just try from
narrow-minded,
one region, that's a
right.
very narrow.
Yep.
Right.
You're looking through a keyhole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like somebody that only wants to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and not to be mean or anything, but somebody I know out there like only eats like 3 things in their palate, and they only like one kind of beer, and
I know
that's
a guy
all. They
like
don't want
that.
to try anything else.
I know a guy
How boring
like
is that? Do you know what I'm
It
saying?
is.
Like it's so boring.
Vienna sausage right out of the can blows my mind every time I see it. I was like, that's like dog food for humans. Don't do that.
Do you
There's no
understand?
reason.
So
Yeah, don't do that.
Like
Yeah, no.
it's so boring. It's like you only eat vanilla ice
But
cream,
it could just
and you're
be
not
very
going to try
safe.
like all these different
Vanilla
flavors.
ice
It's
cream.
boring. So thank you. So what is our next beer we're going to try? Because we have so many more to try.
Okay.
Jordan.
I know. I'm switching gears. Hang on.
Okay, next beer.
The wine was very good though.
Sticky clutch.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent.
It's one of our more popular cabs for
All
sure.
right. So let me see. Following the wine because it has a higher acid. Let's do the sour.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I have a sour from Nightmare Brewing. Let me.
Honorable mention: it is not local.
It is not.
Okay.
No.
Where's
This
it
is
from?
one.
Is it USA?
It is USA, of course.
So kind of local. Not
I
Arizona,
think
like
actually,
but
but I could be
out of
wrong.
Bayshore, New York.
New York.
Ooh.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
these guys are hard to get, but everything I get from Nightmare, I don't even taste it first. I just buy it.
Wow. Is
They
that good?
they do sours, they do imperial stouts occasionally. They'll do IPAs, but all their stuff is just next level. They tend to be a little more expensive, but you know what? In this case, you
It's
get
worth
what you
it.
pay for, and you get a little bit
friend,
more.
Quality.
Yeah. So this is a Goza.
Oh, that looks
And
pretty.
a
Look at the
Goza
color.
is actually, it originates from Germany along the Goza River that's only 7 miles long, and it has a naturally high salinity content. So back in the day when they used to pull the water from the river, they had to figure out flavor profiles that would work with a salt. And so you get salted beer, so you usually get like highly acidic citrus and like red fruits, raspberries, stuff like that with this. And
This
so
one's blackberry, I think blackcurrant, blackberry, and black sea salt.
It's
Yeah.
delicious.
That's on point.
I love that
Yeah.
it's not
So
sweet,
good.
but it's fruity. It's just
And their
exquisite.
art is always so much
Mhm.
fun. It's just they
So-
always have
Oh,
such
wow.
a
yeah, Nightmare always names their beers after like horrific ways to die and or medieval torturing
so good.
techniques.
Mm.
So if you ever want to learn,
What is this
and
one called?
this one is called the
Windlass
Windlass
of
of
Erasmus.
Erasmus.
Oh.
The
Yeah.
what?
The Windlass of
Windlass
Erasmus.
Of Erasmus.
So a windlass, this is rather dark, but they would basically take your intestines and wrap it around a post with a wheel on the end of it, and they would kind of just turn
Like a
the
windmill.
wheel until you were no longer there.
So, question: what would this cost in your bar?
I would
For
say that's
9.
probably about 8 or 9. Yeah.
9 goes for
So,
9.
Yeah.
Okay, 8 or 9. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
that's not what it tastes like.
8 on happy hour, 9
No,
regular.
it's not. No, it doesn't taste like
It tastes
medieval
much better
torture.
than that.
Yes.
So,
it tastes really
Thank
good.
you.
It's really
Thank you for the
delicious.
save, Wendy.
But it's kind of a cool thing that they're trying to, get your attention
Oh
and
yeah,
have something unique.
their can artwork is so great too. Like if you're into can artwork, as I know a lot of
Yeah.
people are, their can artwork
many
is just
people
amazing.
choose beers just on can art.
Yeah,
I
they'll
will
buy
say
it for
that.
I'm a can man myself.
Yeah.
A lot of people
That's
choose
right.
wine based on
I love
labels.
it.
So why not?
So there's got to be a way to like take that can art and, cut it up and like
You can
make
gently
it
peel
into,
the stickers off of most cans.
and make it into like a big.
You
Oh,
can.
we do in our
Collage,
bathroom.
or-
And
In
if
our
you go into our
bathroom?
bathroom, a lot of these
Okay.
are taken off and like placed everywhere. But we also have a lot of patrons
Oh.
who will come in and like if like let's say they didn't order this can,
Mhm.
but they saw that somebody else did. They're like, "Hey, Sophie, can I have that can?"
Mhm.
I'm like, "Yeah."
Huh.
And then
Yeah, they'll scan the can mark.
they'll peel off and
Yep.
they'll keep the thing if they like the art. So a lot
Wow.
of people do that.
That's super
Yeah.
cool. I
It's
love
fun.
it because then that's it is art, even though
Yeah.
it's
And
on a
sometimes
can,
there's
it's-
certain
Mhm.
breweries
It's
that
art.
have like little QR codes that you can scan, and they'll take
Oh.
you like to comic strips. Like Paperback's really well known for that. But like there's just a lot of fun. It's always cool to see like breweries and how they design their cans, and sometimes getting to talk to reps about like, especially if they work with the breweries, like who they've brought on to create the art for them and stuff like that. Like go down the whole entire rabbit hole for it. I love it. It's awesome.
So
Okay,
what
do you
in the
rate
brewing
this?
process makes it get to this level of tartness? Because it's like a similar
Ah,
level of
easy
sour,
question.
to like a lemonade or something. It's like
Yeah.
very tart.
Yeah, so you have a little bit of
question.
salt, and that helps with that. But really, it's the residual acids from the fruit,
Okay.
but it's also the yeast that they use. So there are thousands and thousands of beer yeasts, and it just depends on what type of beer you're making and what you want to do with that type of beer, on what yeast you use. That can go from anything from side flavors to how carbonated it is, to even how high of an ABV it is. They've engineered yeast to die at like precisely 7.5% ABV.
So interesting because it's
Yeah, so then it automatically will leave the rest of the sugar in the beer, and then you can get a sweet beer that's 7.5 because the yeast just stops.
interesting because it's very sour, but it doesn't make you pucker at all.
Yeah.
So it's
No.
still very
Yeah.
drinkable.
No.
That's why
Yeah.
like these kind
It's
of
very
sours,
dry.
because there are like sours are interesting
Yeah.
because some sours can be really sweet. Like the Tiny S's from Prairie, which is really known as like they're made like Skittles basically, is what it's like a Skittles sour, but it's a pretty sweet sour,
Connecticut
right? Where,
Valley
like
lemonade
sometimes
beers.
lemonade beer, like the
Mhm.
Connecticut Valley lemonade beers, or even sometimes the smoothie sour beers can come across as really sweet, so that they can be kind of confusing for people who are super sour drinkers. Like this isn't sour. I'm like technically it is, but it's a little bit on the sweeter side. And then you have stuff like this, a little more Goza style, or like actual sours that
How do you spell Goza?
Gose with a little apostrophe above the E.
Gose. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a German term?
Like an accent. Yep, named after the Goza River in
Did I say
Germany.
apostrophe accent? Thank you.
And it actually means what?
Oh, it's the name of the river that they used to pull the water from, and it
Because it
has
was
a
super
naturally
salty.
high salt content. And
Okay.
so that style of beer is actually named after that river. It's only 7 miles long. But now,
Wow.
this is almost an extinct style of beer. But during World War II, there was one brewery in Germany. Its name escapes me at the moment, but they continued to make Gozas, and they're still around now. And then beer nerds rediscovered it, and now they're
Love
all
that.
over the place. Yeah.
That's incredible.
really
But what I
cool.
love is how many is this 5% alcohol?
This one's going to be a little bit more than that.
What is it?
This is a 6.5.
6.5.
So that's nice because it's also, it seems like it's very low sugar. Like we talked about. I mean, what's the sugar content? Do you know?
I imagine the sugar content is a little bit
Yeah,
more on the
higher
high
than-
side.
yeah.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you
I mean,
want a
I-
low sugar
Yeah, but
content,
well, and
I would
mean,
go with.
in the sense of like glucose, or whatever, because it's fruit based, right? So it's not like there's not necessarily added sugars to a lot of these things. It's just the actual sugars that you have from what's being used. So again, but even still, even fruits naturally have a high content of sugar, just a different kind of sugar than like refined sugar. It's a different.
What would you
totally
rate
different
it, Sophie?
Sours. For a sour, and being somebody who is not partial to sours, I like this beer a lot, and I would definitely put it
I
in
have
like
one
an
more sour.
8.5 to 9 range.
Because I would give this a 10.
Nightmare Brewing is fantastic. Like I said, but
10.
10, an absolute 10. This is a really popular
I love
beer.
it. Between the
really
art
is.
on the can
Oh
and
yeah.
the way it tastes with the fruitiness, I just
Yeah.
love it. Jordan,
And
what
it's
would
not
you rate
super
it?
salty. What I like about Gozas is that there's that little bit of saltiness that kind of cuts with the sour, so it doesn't make it too pungent. Like it
I'd
doesn't
say
make it doesn't
Yes.
make it have that puckeriness to it. I feel
Yeah.
like the salt kind of balances that, so you don't get that. Because if you didn't have that little bit of salt, you would really get that kind of super tart sour flavor.
So, with wine, you call that the tannin. So, would you call that with beer too, or not really?
No.
No.
Okay.
Tannins are basically those are residuals from the red skins of grapes, and sometimes like the more tannic wines, they leave the skins on longer to where you get like that big dry mouthfeel, like a good Zinfandel or something like that. Those are very tannic wines. Whereas if it's like a lighter wine, like a rosé, which are basically red wines that aren't
Just
left
kiss
in
the
as
skin
longer.
a little
Yeah,
bit, yeah.
and that's basically the main difference. Like if you left that alone, then it would turn into a red, but you just take the skins out sooner, and then you get pink or a rosé. So it just depends on how long you leave it in there. Even what it's aged in, how absorptive the material is.
Like
Stainless steel,
versus oak.
Right.
you're gonna get more
Yeah.
tannins than oak, or even like textured concrete. You're just gonna.
But do we use that word with beer? If
No,
we're describing
tannin,
it?
No.
tannin
No,
is
not at
strictly
all.
for wine. Yep.
Strictly for wine. Okay,
Yep.
that's what my question was. Okay, so let's move on to the next beer.
Love
What do you
it.
want to try?
Alrighty.
Let's go.
So
Let's see.
Come on, Sophie. What are we drinking?
I don't know. We have a cold
Okay.
IPA. We have
Drum
a
roll.
West Coast IPA. We have a pale ale.
Let's go
hazy
to
pale ale.
let's go to Good Company Pale.
Okay, this is from Catalyst Crafters. They're out of Tempe, so they are also local.
Nice.
Love these guys a lot. They do some really
Local,
excellent stuff.
local.
I
Local.
tend to like
Local.
pale ales. So
Yeah,
I'm interested.
I like pale ales a lot. This is a little hazier pale ale, so you're not gonna get it's not gonna have that super more of like I find that pale ales aren't as hoppy as like West Coast IPAs, but you still got a nice little amount of hops to it, but you still got the little bit of juiciness to it because it has the haziness to it. But this is a pretty solid hazy IPA for sure. Catalyst Crafters does a really nice job. They also make seltzers too, which I thought is kind of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, these guys are
So they're
exploring.
local,
These guys are
and
local out of Tempe, and they're
have you
exploring
met
a
them?
lot. Yeah,
Oh, okay, great.
yeah.
And is it like friends or has it a
No,
wife
I
team
mean
or
I've
a
met
single-
them. I've met
Who
them
is it?
like at like beer, like the brewery stuff that we go to.
Who's
things
the
like-
owner of this one? Do you know? Jordan.
I do not off the top of my head.
Not off
Okay,
the top of my
so
head.
we'll have to meet
I
them.
know that I know that I have met
Actually,
them,
we'll
so I'm
talk about
sorry,
it.
you guys. It has been a while since I've seen you and we talked. But I do for. Needless to
But
say,
your
even
work
if I
speaks
can't
for
remember,
itself.
even if I can't remember
Yes.
their names, what I can say is I do like their brewery, and I think they're a pretty solid brewery, and they are trying a lot of different things. I think that eventually for them, because they are fairly new still, once they kind of hone into what really makes them them, that'll make their strong point for them. But they're trying a lot of things right now, and they're doing a pretty good job.
That
Well,
being
first
said,
of all, the
you know,
name is great. Good company.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
company.
Like if you're going into a party and you want to bring a gift.
Yeah,
Good
and
company.
we have currently
Oh,
from them
cute.
right now we have this hazy pale ale. We also have their Vesuvio, which is going to be an Italian style pilsner, and then we have one Mexican lager from them, which is actually kind of a darker Mexican lager, so it's going to be a little bit more on that maltier side. So think like Modelo Negro kind of style from them, but pretty solid all three of those beers for sure.
And this is why she is such a threat as a bartender.
That's right.
Exhibit A.
Yeah.
Well,
Take some
You guys
notes.
are like beer
Well, it's
songs.
impressive.
Does that exist? Is there such a thing as like a beer song?
it's
There-
impressive.
There is.
Just
and
a couple
Connoisseur.
years
Excuse
ago.
me, but there
What's it
is.
called?
She knows so much
Sommelier.
in
No,
such a
that's
short
wine.
time.
Beer,
That's
yeah.
impressive.
It's
Cicerone.
wine.
Beer
Cicerone.
song? What's it
That's
called?
impressive.
No,
Cicerone. No, it's
Cicerone. Yeah, it
Cicerone.
is. Yep.
Yeah,
Cicerone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
guys
And
are
actually,
like
I have
Cicerones.
the recommended reading book in the bar that I loan out to them, and I
Oh.
still go through it.
I think I still have one at my house.
Cool.
Here's
That's
our
where it
local
is.
beer.
Find it.
I also bring my have my own books too, as far as like helping me understand all the
We're
different.
definitely going to hashtag
I need
catalyst.
to. I need to buy
Local
another
beer.
copy of that because that book is so good.
Do you want
It
some
is
beer?
so good.
Yeah, it goes through everything from how your taste buds work to the yeast to the hops to
Yeah.
beer history
Wow.
to everything.
Yeah.
Once
yeah.
you read that, you're just like, oh.
I want to get Rachel into our bar. And she's a
Yeah.
Cicerone. She does a lot of stuff out of Bonehouse, and so she's really.
Oh, that'd be
she's-
fun.
She's so great. She's so smart. We met her at. I officially met her at the beer festival we went to last year.
Okay.
And I met her. That's how I got reconnected with my friend Sean, who works for Bonehouse.
But we need to get to the next beer
Yeah. Sorry.
because we have two more beers and another
Right.
wine.
Got it.
So what's our next
We
one?
got a
we're
lot
gonna
of
try?
ground to
Okay.
cover.
This one I would give
This
a.
is delicious.
For me, this one is like a 6.
Yeah, I
This
agree
one's
with
not
you.
what I would order.
like it.
I mean, you know,
And hazy
I'm being
pale ale.
honest,
Hazy pale, slightly hoppy on this one, gentle hops,
but I like that
Definitely
it's local.
easily drinkable though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A little silky, and this is
Yeah.
done with Matuka hops, so you
Yeah.
know, straightforward. You're gonna get like some citrus,
Mhm.
tropical notes on it. Really
Yeah.
solid, straightforward, technically correct hazy.
Now, if I was
Well
like
done.
really, you know, just coming from a hike and I was really overheated,
Yeah.
if this was freezing cold, it's not that cold right now.
Well, it's been sitting
Then
there
I
for
would
a
love
minute,
it.
so
Yeah, that's
Then I
our
would
fault.
love it.
That's
Yeah,
our
That's our
fault.
fault.
then I
We
would
should
love
brought
it.
ice, but
Because I love that it's local and I still want to support it. Okay, so
No,
what's our
for
next
sure.
one?
Good job.
We're gonna try.
All
Do
right.
that.
And
You wanna do the cold
I'm gonna-
from Dark
everybody
Sky?
ready for the next?
Yeah,
That one was
sure.
very good though for all my friends that just buy IPAs that just
Yeah.
See,
grab
my-
Lagunitas. They could definitely switch it out. with that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
super,
Yeah.
super light. It's not even IPA. It's a hazy pale ale. So it's not even. That's why it's not going to be as juicy or necessarily as sweet. Because a lot of times people say they want citrus from an IPA, and really what they mean is they want orange juice, especially if they're talking like hazy IPA. So they want that
Yeah.
sweetness to it. So
I mean, there's a reason the church
it's a
music
nice
is one of our
amount. Yep.
top sellers. You know.
The top seller in the valley.
Yeah.
Really?
If we're honest, the shop,
Really?
yeah, out of out
Yep.
of Tempe, church music. They're in almost every fucking bar because they are.
Really?
That is.
Oh
a,
yeah, you
Nice
can't.
It's
stop
really
playing
good.
church
Yeah.
music.
Every,
Here you
But
go,
it's
then.
super
because it's like
juicy.
orange juice. Let's be real.
Are you
It's
ready to
good.
try
Yeah,
yours?
it's like
Very
slightly
drinkable.
hoppy orange juice.
They don't do any of the hops, so.
I love orange juice. So you're saying it's a little bit like orange juice?
Oh yeah, you should.
In the
definitely
shape
try
of a beer,
shop music.
for sure.
Yeah,
Oh, I love the nose.
it's as close to a beer mosa as you can get without having a beer mosa.
Do we
Devil's
still
this
call it a
one's-
nose
I
when it
love
comes to
that.
beer, or do we?
Wow,
have a different
that's
term?
yummy.
Nose is
So this
okay.
one, Dark Sky Brewing,
Mm.
they're out of Flagstaff, 6.3. This is a cold IPA. So if I remember right, that means that they use cryogenically frozen
I
hops
believe so.
in order to make it to where they harvest the hops, freeze them with liquid nitrogen, ship them, and then brew with them. So it's super
Wow.
fresh, herby.
And the art is beautiful.
And this is called Devil's Lettuce, aptly named. If you've ever had like a really skunky IPA and you're like, this smells a little bit like weed, the reason why is
Yep.
they're both in the nettle family.
Yep.
Hops and weed are cousins.
Yep.
And so if you get a really skunky beer, it's going to smell like really good weed.
Now, to
And
be
vice
fair,
versa.
just because you like to smoke weed
Interesting.
doesn't mean you like to drink weed. So, in the sense
I-
that, like for somebody who
I
loves
mean, I
the
love
smell
those
of
beers.
a smell of like danky weed,
Yeah.
danky beer is not my thing. So, it's just.
So
to
this
be
one
fair.
is not your
I'd like to
favorite.
give a shout out to Walter Station. They make their bowl resin on 420.
Oh,
Their
yeah.
bowl resin, I think it's an IPA.
It's a pale ale.
Oh, it's a pale ale. Thank you. Yeah, their bowl resin pale ale, so good.
It is very
It's one of my
hoppy.
favorite beers. I look forward to it
Really?
every year.
Yeah, we
oh,
get it
yeah.
every year. We get it every
And
year.
how can
Sophie's
you
not looking forward
get it into
to
your
it, I
bar?
think.
Oh, I do.
Oh, you
Yeah,
do? Okay.
Every year I buy it, but it's a
It's just
seasonal
a
thing.
hoppy
So they only make it
Oh.
during
It's
420
for
because it's
me.
the whole weed thing and it's
Okay.
dank and
It's
it's
fine.
skunky.
Okay.
But it's so good.
I
It's
will
so
say
good.
Dark
And a lot
Sky
of
has to be
breweries
one of my favorite
make
brewery,
like weed themed
like,
beers around
breweries in
420.
Arizona. Like I have a little
Interesting.
bias,
Yeah.
but I
Okay.
definitely
Okay.
would
So
have
it's
to
just a
say there.
seasonal
Everything
beer
tastes
that we
so
can
good.
get.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Thanks for pipes on
Chet, what do you think of that one? What would you rate this one?
Very good, very
I'm gonna
unique,
make
Yeah.
a
very
t-shirt.
interesting.
So good.
The can is cool.
Yeah, no,
Dark
Dark
Sky
very
a couple
cool.
years ago, they were very experimental.
Yeah.
Sometimes it would be hit and miss, but
They
honestly,
are-
they've really come
They're
into their
so,
own.
I'm sorry,
I
but
love this
they are
one.
one of my favorite
Yeah,
breweries.
they've really
I
come
love
into their
it.
own. Like
Behind-
the past 2 years, Dark
They're
Sky
at
has
Flagstaff.
ironed out their stuff, and it's so good.
So
Their
good.
food is really excellent as well. They do brick.
One of my favorite
brick
pale
oven
ales
fired
comes from them.
pizzas
The
and stuff
Westie,
like
which
that.
is really good, comes from them.
Mhm.
Like, there's nothing that
And
I've
then
had
Tower
that's
is
not.
right around the
Yeah.
or Mother Road Brewing is right around the corner from them.
That's
so
a
you know
fun
what?
destination to check out when you're in
Absolutely.
Flagstaff. Then
Cool.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
know, take a day drive up to
This is
Flagstaff,
nice.
chill, have
Would
some
it be
good
weird
beer.
I really
to
like this
add,
one.
like some like an orange slice to this or
Mm-mm.
anything?
No. See, now
think that'd be
Americans
good. I would
kind of
like
frown
that.
upon that sort
I
of
would
thing.
like that.
But you know what? In Germany, they add fruit to the beer
Lemons
all
and
the
they do.
time.
Yeah.
All the
that
time.
sounds great.
I
If
feel
you
like
wanna-
this would be
I don't
great
know if I'd
little
love to have like
Yeah,
an
I
orange in
agree.
it. Maybe like a lemon and just
Or a
throw
lime.
it
And
in.
I mean, you can make
Maybe
beer
a lime,
moses.
yeah.
You can add like a lager or a citrusy lager to orange juice, stuff like that. You can
Yeah.
make beer moses. You can make beer cocktails.
All right,
Have
let's
fun
go to
with
this
it.
next one.
Yeah.
Last one. Stop.
Well, that's
stop,
it
stop.
Okay,
now,
okay.
right?
I know,
Yes,
we
we
gotta-
have
we
one
gotta
more,
go
and then we have a
through one
wine to
more.
review too.
Yeah. Last one, Saddle Mountain. So these
Okay.
guys are out of Goodyear. The Hop Snob, one of their top
Okay.
beers. I honestly, Hop Snob is I oh my gosh, these guys are
Hop
just
Snob
so
is really good. So this is going to be a West Coast IPA. They're aviation themed brewery, so all their stuff, even their
Love
cans, their cans have like a little
Yeah, I see on the side.
navigator's panel to tell you all the information about the beer. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
And
And we are-
I met the owner
Laura,
at
And
an
this month
industry
we're pouring
event.
out. We're not
Laura,
drinking
so
it
Laura,
all.
we went to the pig something, I forgot what it was called, but we met
No, it was a
Laura,
Whistling Pig Whiskey
yeah.
industry night.
industry night, and it was so much fun. We met Laura; she was absolutely phenomenal. Oh my
She's
goodness,
one of those people where you talk to her and you're like, I want to know everything about you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She's like, I've been running businesses since I was like 6 years old. I'm exaggerating to an extent, maybe.
She
but
owned a
not-
town at one
like,
point.
Yeah, right. Like this woman, like literally,
Cool.
one
Yeah.
of the most.
She's just
literally
a
one of the
juggernaut of a
coolest-
human, but she's so chill.
She's so, like one of the coolest human beings you'll ever freaking meet. Like I was like, I want to be you when I grow up, and I get that I'm kind of grown up, but like I want to be her officially when I grow up because she's just such a badass.
Does
I love
anybody
it. I love
remember
it.
when Tortilla Flats was for sale?
No.
It's like this itty bitty smallest town that you could ever.
I
think
know
of,
what it- I
right
know what
next
it
to
is, yeah.
Canyon Lake,
Yes, yes, yes.
and it was for sale not that long ago. I did not have the budget for it, nor do I now. But I wanted to buy Tortilla Flats so bad.
Well, cheers. Okay, so
Thank you,
so how would you rate this one, Jordan?
Oh, this is probably one of my favorites. No disregard to like Dragoon or Tower,
Oh,
but you
I
know
love
what?
it.
This for like a hoppy West Coast because it's citrusy at the same time,
Yeah.
but it's
I
very
like it.
well
Yeah.
balanced.
Yeah, this is one of our
Oh,
one
yeah.
of our
Wow.
best-selling
This is
West
very
Coast
good.
IPAs for
Can
sure.
you remember? I love this one and then the Devil's Lettuce.
Okay.
was
You got it.
so
got it.
good.
Uh-huh.
I may or not
I'm not a
remember.
beer
I may not
drinker.
remember
Yeah.
you.
See,
I might
you're
remember
making
your
me a
face.
beer
haven't met the right
Yeah.
people
See,
yet.
yeah, exactly.
6.9 ABV, so
Yeah.
not bad.
Wow. Is this one local as well?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Have a good year.
And like, I mean, they've got the little aviation panel there to tell you all about the
These
beer.
guys are
Oh, this is the last one you were
the
talking
can,
about.
yeah,
Okay.
the can art is
Sometimes
amazing.
they do like events where they'll do like you can get a beer for like
Wait, look at that.
$3 or
That's so pretty.
$5 or
Beautiful
something
beer.
like that.
And
which
look
is
at Hop
super
Snob.
sweet.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like that can.
See,
They're
Chet, when you show up to a
strawberry
party with your
blonde
guy
bitch is
friends,
fantastic.
you
Right.
can bring these cool brews.
And also, like, how much of a flex is that? If you show up to a game night and you bring like a 6-pack of Hop Snob, and the
Yeah.
other guy brings, no offense, like a 6-pack of
Bud Light.
Lagunitas or Bud Light
Yeah.
or Miller,
You're gonna be
Highlight.
like the
you're-
cool guy.
you've already won game
I
night.
would literally just look
that's
at every
true.
single one of
That's
them and be
true.
like, peasants, all of you, peasants.
Exactly.
Well, I think it's like funny that people that drink like seltzers or Bud Lights. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Why
I
are you
straight
even
up
drinking
don't
if
get
you've
it.
not? Like, I'm sorry. I
Chet,
just.
Well, to me,
There it
to me,
is.
it
There it
shows
is.
it shows that they're drinking for the wrong reasons, just to get drunk.
True.
They're just
Right.
like trying to go from point
agree
A to point B and not actually enjoy the just
Yeah,
the
you're
journey.
just there to
Right.
just like
That's right.
chug
That's
shit
right.
down. Like, I
Yeah.
need you to enjoy this. Like, that's the
Right.
thing. Like,
Life is worth living.
Like,
Life is too
enjoy
short to
what
drink
we're doing.
crappy
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah.
I agree.
If
And
anybody
so,
out there wants
Chet,
to date Sophie,
the next
do
birthday,
not show up
you should
with Bud Light.
do an arrangement with Jordan.
If
You
anybody
get
wants to do
Jordan and
general,
Sophie's
just let me
number
know.
and surprise them, and you guys all go in there and drink beer.
We'll take some friends there. We don't have to do a.
But do you have like a flight where you can do a beer tasting flight?
Yeah, we do beer flights.
You do.
It's like,
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
cool.
why
Yeah.
wouldn't they
And then you
want
play
to?
games.
Why
and
wouldn't
fun.
they?
Yeah, definitely
Maybe
do
there's something
that.
Maybe
different.
because I,
Exciting.
Yeah.
I work
Yeah,
at
exactly.
a bar.
So we only
They're
have
intimidated
4
by my beer
minutes.
choices.
4 minutes.
That was like the
girls and
first ask
boys.
for
All right.
business.
4 minutes.
What do we have left, Miss
So
Tia? What do we need?
Okay.
we have one more wine.
Okay, so the last one. Okay, so
One more
this
wine.
is the
Down
Bodyguard,
Bodyguard.
also from Paso Robles. Bottle only at our location, but this one's really good. This is a red blend. The Bodyguard. This was started by
Bodyguard. I love the name.
Yeah.
two Middle Eastern
Whitney Houston.
Yes.
gentlemen
yes.
that were
Kevin
refugees
Costner.
from the war, and they were in the war zone, and they were in hostile territory, and there was shelling, and the mother shielded the two boys, and so they all made it out, thank goodness, of course, but they named this after their in homage to their mother.
So that's the story of the guys that created Dow.
That's so
That's the
cool.
story of the Bodyguard. Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
But so the guys that
That's a
started
great
Dow, that's
story.
their story, and then they named this.
Wow,
by
cheers. I love
this
it.
variety.
Yes.
or
I have
this-
And
never
so
tried
this
this
is
before.
named
I
after their
don't
mother
I
and
don't
her
have
heroic
any. I
acts.
have
Oh, sorry.
I suppose.
Oh
Oh,
my
I love it
goodness.
already.
Sorry.
Thank you, Kinga.
But
See,
it's-
I
You're
can-
the
I can
real
work there. See, I
queen.
can
Okay,
pour.
that's good.
I need to dump first. I need to
You
buy
can work for tastings. I don't know if you're going to work as a bartender. You work for...
Kinga would be the great bartender.
Right?
Like a little bit on the heavier side.
She's a
Well,
fine on that
but-
9-second
extra tips for
pour.
me.
But
Yeah.
this is
She
funny
might
that you're saying this.
bankrupt you,
Wait,
but
wait,
everybody
really
will be
quickly.
happy.
Sam Pillsbury asked me while I was going through a divorce to kind of work for him, and I said, "Oh, right now I'm going through a divorce. I can't make any money. I can't get a job." But I said, "I'll volunteer there." So I went and did wine pours
so
for
cool.
him, and yeah. So I worked for him for like I don't know, maybe 6 months or a year. I
Nice.
don't know. It was
Where
big.
is Sam? Can I
And,
work
uh,
for him at like 2 days
wait-
a week?
But this was funny.
Right?
So my line was always the longest because you're only, it has that thing that stops the line. From,
Stop.
Yes, this is, and everybody's like, I love Kinga, I love Kinga, I
I
love
bet
Kinga.
they do.
Because
Mhm.
you had that thing that stops the wine, but they had like just a little tiny sip, and I was like, that's not big enough to drink. So I do it twice.
It's like a double
Nobody
pour.
was in any other line. They're all in my
100%.
line.
Yeah, of course they are.
100%.
Of course.
Once the word gets out, that's it.
Yeah.
No, but Sam knew. Sam knew.
Everyone else has to
And
like
he thought
either
it was
match
funny.
your energy or
Pour.
just deal.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
So anyhow, we have only a minute and a half left. How do people find your bar?
We are, thank you for asking.
Yes.
We are located on
Yes.
24th Street, just south of Osborne. We're right across the street from the McDonald's, and we are right around the corner from Glybon.
In addition to that, Jordan, we also do have a website. You can find us on that.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then we also have social media.
Instagram.
So there's
Yeah.
a
Instagram,
Be Kind
Facebook.
_rewind, but that's spelled
Double.
REWINED. All right. So there's just make sure of that
Double underscore.
double underscore.
It's
Oh,
a
sorry,
pun.
my bad.
It's a pun, folks. It's a pun.
Either that, or you
make
can
it
also
once, you pay for it for 6 years.
yeah, or you can also do little.miss.overalls, and that's mine, and that will
Mhm.
also get us to Jordan and to Rewind as well. We do a lot of fun events. Follow us on social. We also do have a Facebook on top of that. And then you can also find us on Yelp and Google reviews, all the fun things. We are definitely trying to expand a little bit more with all of
Also,
that.
if you come in and you visit us and you check in on Yelp, you get a free fabric patch.
You do.
And it's just like an awesome little bit of swag, and we'll like
Yeah.
hook you up with a sticker or two and stuff like that.
Yeah,
We always have
absolutely.
swag
Always.
swimming around the
Just
bar. I'm all about the
And
swag.
Sophie does in fact wear overalls while she's working.
Yeah.
at
Every
Rewind.
freaking day.
And she's
Not
famous for
always
how she
out.
cleans the wine glasses.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
come and watch me as my hair
Oh.
blows in the wind as I'm
When she cleans the
cleaning
wine
those
glasses,
glasses,
the machine
yeah.
blows her hair, and she has these Beyonce
That's actually the only
moments.
reason people come to the bar is to watch me clean
They
dishes.
do.
I
Yeah,
can't
and
help
she's
but
going,
notice-
and she's going like that
No one's
while
talking about
she's
me.
having
Saving the planet.
Beyonce.
One
One
show at a
time.
time.
One show at a time. Bye. Thank